on the air. This
Right.
is how arrogant the government is in California. This
Right.
is how bad it is when one party controls any government of either party.
Right.
I was embarrassing them on the air
Right.
for weeks, and still nothing happened
Right.
until the governor himself intervened and said, you know, this is getting embarrassing.
Right.
And of course, it was a bunch of bullshit. None
Right.
of it ever needed to happen.
Right.
It wasn't even the one that bothered me the most. The one that bothered me the most was my garage door. When I moved into this house, it had a 3 garage door. Okay, it doesn't fit 3 cars. I don't know what these cars are.
Right.
It fits 3 motorcycles.
Right.
Okay, like I don't live in a fucking mansion. I don't want to. I live alone, okay? I've got a wonderful house, happy to have it. No one would mistake it for, like, you know, lifestyles of the rich and famous. Okay, so I wanted to change my 3-car garage, wink, wink, to what it should be, a 2-car garage. This took 3 inspections. Inspections?
Right.
For I'm just changing my garage. Why do you have to be involved in my life when I'm changing my garage?
Because
if it falls down on my head, that's my fault for doing it with a bad contract.
Right.
Bill Maher and Carolla just tore into California's controversial one-party state system, and it was ruthless. The duo broke down exactly why California is spiraling, then laid out how to fix the damage left by Democrats. This video promises fireworks, so if you love scorching political takes, smash the subscribe button and let's dive straight into it right now. And don't miss
land check and all of the above. I had to deal with all of it. And I would always say, look, if you're living in Santa Monica and you have rent control apartment, good, vote the way you vote, I get it. But buy a piece of land, get a home, go to the city, try to pull a permit, and then tell me how you feel about this government. Because I think it's too fucking big. And you go, what? We get rent control. Yeah, you get rent control. Go buy a piece of property, try to do a remod, go talk to the city, and then tell me how you feel.
Because you're doing this to your home.
Right, and I've done it.
You were wiped out.
No, I wasn't wiped out. My home is intact in Malibu. Everything around it is burnt.
Bill Maher, then Mel Gibson, and now Carolla, all hammering the same sore spot, the suffocating bureaucracy involved in building a home in California. According to Carolla, anytime he or anyone else points out how absurd the permitting process has become, the knee-jerk response is always the same. California has rent control, as if that somehow solves the problem. Carolla argues this misses the point entirely. Not everyone wants to rent, and for many people, renting isn't even a realistic long-term option. Rent control doesn't create new homes, it doesn't speed up construction, and it doesn't help families who want to build, own, and put down roots. Instead, endless regulations, approvals, and delays make housing scarcer and more expensive. Critics like Carolla say California isn't suffering from a lack of good intentions. It's suffering from too much red tape. Until that changes, the housing crisis will only keep getting worse.
A business was doing it to other
Why did your
people's
home
homes.
survive?
God loves me. You should know that.
No, really. Everything around you burned?
I would say 80% of what was around me burned. And
Did you take precautions that others didn't? Did you like
wear a condom?
Wetting the roof?
No, I didn't. I
changed my roof since last year. I have a whole different roof.
I noticed
and I have
it
a
when I
thing that goes in the pool where
to
you
pump it.
You
Yeah.
shoot the pool up on the
No,
roof.
I did nothing, and just complete luck of the draw. Like the hood, the SS Hood, which was a British ship, sunk blown up by the Bismarck in World War II, and 1,800 sailors went into the ground and 6 popped up. went to the drink, and 6 sort of came.
Maher's question is a sincere one. He wants to know whether all the bureaucracy and endless red tape in California has actually helped prevent or even reduce fire incidents across the state. After years of regulations, permits, and layers of oversight, you'd expect at least some measurable improvement. Unfortunately, the answer has always been the same. No. Wildfires continue to rage, homes are still lost, and entire communities are repeatedly displaced. That's where Maher's frustration comes in. If a system is created to solve a specific problem but consistently fails to deliver results, what purpose does it really serve? Instead of protecting people, the bureaucracy seems to slow down rebuilding, raise costs, and trap residents in an endless loop of paperwork. Maher isn't arguing against safety or smart regulation. He's questioning inefficiency. His point is simple. When rules multiply but results don't improve, it's time to ask whether the system itself has become the problem rather than the solution.
Like, are you fucking nuts? And I realized she didn't know what was going on. Then you talked about your garage door. But the point is you got turned a little bit with your solar shack. And I said it a million times, live in rent control, fine. Go get your own home and try to pull a permit. You'll start thinking more like me. And you try to get your solar shack permit, and that took 2 years.
2 years.
Just a quick note on Jane Fonda and her appearance on Club Random. Moments like that are a reminder that many celebrities live inside a bubble, largely insulated from the everyday consequences of bureaucracy. They aren't usually the ones stuck waiting months or years for permits, approvals, and inspections. Their celebrity status alone can smooth over obstacles that normal Americans have no choice but to endure. And when it comes to permit fees and compliance costs, those hurdles barely register. When you're earning millions, paying inflated fees, or hiring specialists to navigate red tape is just another line item. That disconnect matters. It shapes how celebrities talk about policy and regulation, often without fully grasping how punishing those same systems can be for average people trying to build, rebuild, or simply live their lives. The frustration is about how far removed these voices can be from the reality.
On the air. This is how arrogant the government is in California. This is how bad it is when one party controls any government of either party. I was embarrassing them on the air for weeks, and still nothing happened. Until the governor himself intervened and said, you know, this is getting embarrassing. And of course, it was a bunch of bullshit. None of it ever needed to happen. It wasn't even the one that bothered me the most. The one that bothered me the most was my garage door. When I moved into this house, it had a
part that really makes you stop and think. Bill Maher revealed it took him 2 full years just to get a permit for his roof. 2 years for a roof. Now do the math. If Maher, a nationally known celebrity with influence, resources, and even personal ties to Governor Gavin Newsom, still had to wait that long after Newsom reportedly stepped in, what chance does the average Californian have? The ordinary homeowner doesn't have a direct line to the governor, a team of lawyers, or the ability to absorb endless delays without financial stress. For them, every month lost means higher costs, insurance nightmares, and living in limbo. Maher's story unintentionally exposes the real issue. The system isn't just slow, it's fundamentally broken. When even the well-connected can't navigate it efficiently, the bureaucracy stops being about safety or fairness and starts looking like a barrier designed to grind everyone down.
3 garage door. Okay, it doesn't fit 3 cars. I don't know what these cars are. It fits 3 motorcycles. Okay, like I don't live in a fucking mansion. I don't want to. I live alone, okay? I've got a wonderful house, happy to have it. No one would mistake it for, like, you know, lifestyles of the rich and famous. Okay, so I wanted to change my 3-car garage, wink wink, to what it should be, a 2-car garage. This took 3 inspections. Inspections? For I'm just changing my garage. Why do you have to be involved in my life when I'm changing my garage?
Because-
if it falls down on my head, that's my fault for doing it with a bad contract.
Had to go through all of that bureaucracy just to replace a garage door. Let that sink in. This is what pure red tapism looks like. Rules for the sake of rules. Completely detached from common sense. No homeowner should need a permit to fix or replace a garage door. It's not a structural overhaul, it's not an environmental threat, and it's certainly not a public safety crisis. Yet in California, even the most basic home maintenance can trigger months of paperwork, fees, and inspections. That's why both Bill Maher and Adam Carolla keep calling it out. Their argument isn't radical, it's practical. What real harm does changing a garage door cause to the house, the neighborhood, or the environment? None. Instead, these regulations slow people down, drive up costs, and frustrate homeowners who just want to maintain their property. When simple fixes become bureaucratic nightmares, it's a clear sign the system has lost all sense of proportion.
Inauguration. And Trump says, well, we're going to go in and we're going to change the permitting laws. Now, he is obviously a guy who just pulls things out of his ass. I get the impetus to do this. Like, why wouldn't you want to do that? He's the guy who sees a problem anywhere and he goes, I can fix that.
Right.
But is there any jurisdiction for the president to override local permitting laws?
I think I don't know about precedent because no one cared and it never existed. And if you're building a log cabin in 1871, there's no court case on that. I think he can because I've heard something about it. But the point is,
that's how bad the bureaucracy problem has become. So bad that Bill Maher openly joked about wishing Donald Trump would step in and fix it. And that says a lot. Maher and Trump are not exactly on friendly terms. Yes, Maher once had dinner with him, but that didn't magically turn them into allies or change Maher's political instincts. Maher has been very clear. He would still vote Democrat regardless of who's on the ticket, but his comment reveals something deeper. When a lifelong liberal starts entertaining the idea that a political opponent might be better at cutting red tape, it's a sign the system is seriously broken. Maher isn't endorsing Trump, he's expressing frustration. His point is that bureaucracy has grown so bloated and unresponsive that people are desperate for anyone willing to challenge it. When ideology takes a back seat to basic functionality, that's when you know the problem has reached a break.
Metaphor for government and the size of government. When you can't do what you want to do on your land that you own and that you pay taxes on, and you need to ask fucking permission from them to do stuff on your land, then we have gone across the Rubicon. We have crossed the Rubicon. And the fact that I bought a warehouse in Glendale, California. And
I agree with Adam Carolla. When you still need government permission to make basic changes to a property you bought with your own hard-earned money, something has gone seriously off the rails. At that point, we've crossed the Rubicon. Ownership starts to feel less like a right and more like a conditional privilege, subject to endless approvals and arbitrary rules. The whole promise of owning property is control, within reason over what you do with it. But when simple modifications trigger permits, fees, and months of waiting, that promise collapses. Carolla's argument isn't about reckless building or ignoring safety standards. It's about proportion and common sense. There's a massive difference between constructing a high-rise and replacing a door, or making a minor improvement. When the state inserts itself into every small decision, it erodes personal freedom and accountability. If ownership no longer means autonomy, then the concept itself has been quietly hollowed out, and that should worry everyone, regardless of politics.
And pull a permit, and I went in to the planning commission of the city of Glendale, and I said, I want to pull a permit to do some building on my warehouse. And the 25-year-old chick behind the counter goes, what are you going to do with that warehouse? That I bought, by the way. And I said, I'm going to put some cars in there. And she goes, they might let you do that. And I thought, they might let me do that with my property.
It's infuriating.
It's insane, and it's
infuriating.
huge, and it's a California thing, and unfortunately it's a blue thing, and it's kind of a left thing.
It is.
And and they're encroaching on everything. It's just step back.
Genuinely don't understand why homeowners can't make minor harmless changes to a property they legally bought and already pay taxes on. It defies basic logic. These aren't dangerous renovations or reckless developments, just small innocent improvements that shouldn't require permission from a maze of agencies. Yet somehow they do. That's why some of these laws need to be abolished altogether. When regulations stop protecting people and start existing mainly to generate fees, delays, and fines, they begin to look less like safeguards and more like a well-structured system designed to fleece ordinary Americans. Every permit, inspection, and approval comes with a price tag, and those costs add up quickly. The result is a process that punishes responsibility and discourages upkeep. If laws no longer serve common sense or the public good, but instead function as revenue machines, then it's fair to ask who the system is really working for, and it's clearly not homeowners.
Stop making rules. You don't rule everything.
I tell this to Gavin every time I talk to him.
Just knock it the fuck off. Just leave people alone.
And he says we're doing it, but I don't see it, to be honest.
Well, also,
he says he's doing it when I confront him with it, but I don't see it.
No, because they're there to make rules. That's why they got into power. They like it.
They like it.
What I want...
That's it. They like it.
I want... You know, my favorite answer from a politician is, I don't know. I'm not in charge. Ask your dad. I don't run your house.
Both land on the same conclusion. This kind of suffocating bureaucracy is a distinctly democratic problem. You don't see red states drowning their residents in endless permits, inspections, and delays the way California does. It's a system so convoluted and overbearing that it becomes almost nauseating, sapping energy and patience from anyone trying to simply live their lives or improve their own property. Maher didn't hold back when it came to Governor Gavin Newsom either. He called him out directly, pointing out the glaring disconnect between what Newsom claims and what actually happens. According to Maher, Newsom talks a big game about tackling bureaucracy and cutting red tape, but in reality, very little changes. Permits still take years, costs still climb, and ordinary Californians continue to struggle under rules that seem designed to frustrate rather than help. The message is clear: words without action are meaningless, and the system remains broken. And this brings us to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, then hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.